Sean Terry here, Flip2Freedom.com. Alrighty, I am off to an appointment right now, doing a little pre-appointment intelligence. Is step number 2 of the 9-step seller conversion sequence, pre-appointment intelligence. So driving around this neighborhood right now, just checking out the comps. Now, I'll give you an idea about this potential deal working on. It's actually a 2-house deal. Both houses are in foreclosure. So the house is in foreclosure. Goes to sale in February. The seller doesn't know what they want for the property. Very difficult to get a hold of. We've been going back and forth with the seller, either via email, left messages. This is one that's been in our follow-up sequence forever. Since I think about October, back and forth. So, and it's been in and out, and all of a sudden now, it goes into foreclosure, and then we're here. So basically the bottom line is they owe $146 on a first mortgage that's in foreclosure. And they have a second mortgage on the property, but they're saying they don't know what it is. They don't know what the second mortgage is. So I've got to find out what that second mortgage is. And then I've got to figure out, obviously what to do on the first. Property is worth, there's a property in the same neighborhood, all renovated, completely fixed up, that's sold for about $285, right? So I think it's worth $260 to $285 is the number it's worth. I got to figure out how much obviously renovation is needed. So he owes $146, and there's a second. So I got to figure out what that second is. So going in with this now, I'll give you an idea what the neighborhood looks like. Right here, it's just a typical older style 1980 to 85 build houses. It's like a perfect fix and flip area, perfect rental area. And the houses are 250, 260 and under. Great little neighborhood. So the bottom line is so you get a lead that comes in, right? And I got my file together. I've got everything together here. I've got my 3 low comps, and I've got a comp in the low 150s. I got a comp in the 170s, and another comp of 160s. So with those comps that I have right there, it should establish around about a 160 to 170 purchase price. And I think based upon the foreclosure and the situation, the condition of the property, I think we're going to need to be around 160 or 170 to be able to get this deal done and make sense and be able to flip it for 190 to 200, 199 or so. Or it might be something I keep as a rental property, and just hang on to it, just reinstate the loan, give the seller some money to leave on the property, and then keep the loan in place for 5 to 7 years, and then just hang on to it as a rental. It just depends on how much work needs to be done. So when you're evaluating a pre-foreclosure or a foreclosure deal, pre-foreclosure primarily deal like this one, going on the appointment right here, what you got to do is you got to figure out what the max allowable cash is needed, not max allowable offer. So I'm not going to make him an actual offer number. My offer number is not going to be 175 or 185. When you're dealing with foreclosures, you now, so as responsible for paying the second mortgage, yes, we are responsible for paying for the second mortgage, but there's verbiage in our contract that states that we agree to pay the settlements of the liens, mortgages, judgments, late fees, payments, stuff like that. So the first is in foreclosure. The second mortgage will get wiped out at the foreclosure sale and we'll get zero. So what we'll do is negotiate and see what the second is. Then we'll go negotiate with that second loan. And I've taken second loans from $86,000 to $3,000. I've taken $120,000 to $55,000. So you can reduce that second loan by negotiating with them, because they're going to get nothing at the foreclosure sale when the property actually goes to foreclosure. So that being said, when you're structuring these pre-foreclosure deals, you never offer the actual sales price. You never offer a 165 or a 175 or a 185, right? You got to figure out what's owed right? What the payoff is, or an idea or a roundabout what the payoff is. And then you want to offer cash. So the question becomes, how much money do you need to move? Now, this property is in pre-foreclosure. It's vacant, right? This property is currently vacant right now. And they have a second property, which is the girlfriend's property, that is vacant. It's in foreclosure too, right? So now I got 2 deals I'm going to be working on right now. So the bottom line is, when you're negotiating a pre-foreclosure, the question is, how much cash do you need to move? Or how much cash do you need to be able to get this deal done? And so it's not a purchase price, it's cash. And then what we do is then it's the cash number we give them, the net at closing, which is on the addendum. So it says buyer agrees to pay seller $5,000 net at closing. And then what we do is say, listen, I'll take care of the first mortgage, second mortgage, back payments, fees, whatever that adds up to, I'll take care of all that, right? So we want to have a good idea of what the first and what the second is. So I'm going to ask him that, because he doesn't know what the second mortgage is. So I'm going to ask him what that second mortgage is to get an idea of where we sit with the amount owed on the property. So let's say theoretically he doesn't know what that is, right? He doesn't know what the second mortgage is. We can still write it up to say, listen, I'll take care of it. All the, all the back payments, the second mortgage, the first mortgage, the late payments, I'll take care of all that. And we'll give you, $3,000 at close of escrow, $5,000 at close of escrow, whatever the number is. And if the number comes in significantly higher, right, we can still try to negotiate the second. But if we can't, then either A, we're going to have to refer him to a bankruptcy attorney to file bankruptcy to stop the sale, or, which we have on file, that we work with, or we're going to have to cancel the deal if the deal, it does not make sense and it cannot work. But now I can tell you, pre-foreclosure deals are some of the best deals you can work with. And this is why I tell you to mail those pre-foreclosures, get those deals under contract, because there's an pending event. February, this house is done, right? If he doesn't figure out a solution by February, it's toast. So we have an impending event, number one. And number two, you can keep the existing loan in place. Now, I built can a lien be considered a second mortgage? Yes, a lien. Well, not really. It's not considered a second mortgage. It's considered just a lien, right? Just considered a lien on a property. So the bottom line is that this pre-foreclosure deal right here, they're great at working with these pre-foreclosures. And I built a $36 million, 120 property portfolio primarily off this. So I meet with the seller, I give him a couple $1,000s to move out of the house. We go in, we fix up the property, $5,000, $10,000, hang on to it in our portfolio, turn around and lease it and rent it, get cash flow coming in, and you can build a massive portfolio that way. And I did. And then we ended up selling them all in the height of the market in 2005, which was absolutely insane. Made a boatload of money on that. So I love these pre-foreclosure deals. The issue becomes, working with the seller to be able to, because some sellers, they're in absolute denial, which I think this guy is. So I'm going to have to really work with him on his, his perspective on what he believes the value of the property is and what he thinks he can, get out of the property. So, and also the repairs make an effect, but yeah, I did. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Flipping Dago. So Flipping Dago, I took all the money from all that, and I put it in the land. That was a huge mistake. Yeah. And I talk a lot about that, make it a huge mistake. And I learned from that, right? And I learned from that not to put your money that you make into non-cash flow assets, right? So now we're buying apartment complexes, and I have obviously, real estate holdings and rentals and stuff like that. And this is a pre-foreclosure contract different than an AB sales? That's a great question. So basically what happens is you're going to have the AB contract, and the AB contract is going to reference an addendum, right? So the addendum has basically, let me I got my file here real quick. I'm gonna try to, hold on a second. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show you, so here's my contract right here. And basically, it's a two-page contract right here. And let me read you the addendum. And the addendum on here basically says, if you can see it right there, right? So the addendum basically says, buyer agrees to pay seller blank net at closing. So we're going to negotiate. That's what I'm negotiating is the net, how much cash I'm going to give him at closing. Seller agrees to convey title via an agreement for sale on an exact wrap. So I'm going to wrap the existing loan. On the existing loan for the term of X years, and that's going to be negotiated. I'm going to work on like 5 to 7 years. The loan shall not exceed X, so that will be the 146, 147, whatever the number is. And buyer agrees to pay the settlements of all mortgages, loans, liens, judgments, and stuff like that. So that is essentially the addendum that goes along with it. So what's the purchase price? The purchase price is whatever the debt is, and then what is the cash I give them at close of escrow. So that is the actual, that's the actual deal. So what I'm going to do is, obviously I got my appointment here that's in about 6 minutes. And I'm driving around the neighborhood. Do you look for a certain cap rate on your rentals? Not really. It's just, on single family houses, obviously I want to make anywhere minimum of $500 a month cash flow, right? On our large apartment complexes, they have to cash flow right out of the gate. We're not really looking essentially for a cap rate because we're going to make improvements to the property on those big properties. So it's really not a cap rate thing. It's more of the cash flow right from the start. We don't buy distressed properties when it comes to multifamily. They're Class B, Class C, Class B and Class A properties that are already currently rented that we can come in and do our magic on. Where can I get the contract? Well, if you are a Flip2Freedom Academy member, I have all my contracts in the Flip2Freedom Academy. I have all the addendums, and I actually show you exactly how to write them up. So what's up? Johnny Sanchez is in the house. What's up? All right, so on this appointment I'm going on right now, so I am kind of driving around, looking at the comparable sales, kind of seeing we got some 2 stories, we got some single stories right here. So when you're doing comparables and you're looking, see right here, you got some single stories. You can see they're a little bit older. You got some 2 stories right here. So you don't want to comp 2 stories with 1 stories, right? You want to comp the actual a 2-story to a 2-story and 1 story to a 1 story. I don't see a lot of properties for sale. Now, when I pulled the comparable properties out here, I mean, there was a lot of activity. There was a ton of pending sales, a ton of sales, really good renovations in here, a lot of good comps that I could use to, for an exit price on this property. So it might, one thing's great about pre-foreclosures, you can get in. Yeah, thanks, man. You can get in with these properties. Let's say if I can, I'm going to negotiate to give this guy no more than $5,000. Give him $5,000. I'll take over everything on it. Buy the property. 7 years on the contract. Then I can go in and let's say I do it. That's the deal. Now I'm buying the property for $5,000. I got to figure out what the second is. If I can negotiate that second down to next to nothing, I could buy the second off for a couple, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Go in and fix the place. Turn around and list the property. Be in the thing. Right? List it and turn around and do that, or just hang on to it for cash flow. What kind of cash flow are you looking for a multifamily? A lot. So we purchased a $5 million 128 unit that cash flowed about $140,000 a year. We purchased a $10 million 200 plus unit, 300 plus unit property, and that property cash flowed over $400,000 a year. So that was a pretty good deal. So now that cash flow is distributed between the partners and the investors when it comes in. So, all right. So I got 3 minutes to get to this appointment. So what I'm going to do is make sure you put your post notifications on here. Put your post notifications on. When I exit this appointment, I'm going to go live again, and I'm going to give you the breakdown exactly what happened. Either I got the contract, I didn't get the contract, or whatever the situation is. But then I'll share that with you on what happened after the appointment and kind of see what the deal is. Now, I'm also going to try to do this. Yeah. Now, obviously, I can't go live in the appointment. That'd be crazy. The seller would just go bananas. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to record the conversation, right? So I'm going to put my recorder on my phone and see if I can record the conversation, if that works. And then I might be able to put it out to the public and cut out his name, cut out the property address or any personal references with that, and be able to, so he's unidentifiable. But then I can let you listen into a not live, but a actual negotiation, what it sounds like and how to negotiate and what we're offering, the questions I ask and stuff like that. So no one's ever done that before. No one ever has done that in the market before. No other guru or whatever they call has ever done it, because most of the gurus out there don't even do the business, right? They're not even doing deals, right? So, but I love this. I love going and getting deals. All right, 2 minutes, gotta go. So put your post notifications on. I'll hit you guys up once I'm done the appointment. See ya.